All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 of this best of 2 series. It is, of course, MLPDota, joined by johnxfire. John, we've casted less than an hour and a half in 3 games. If you weren't watching game number 1, Vici Gaming did win very, very convincingly. I think it was around the 21 or 22 minute mark the game ended.
Yep.
John, what does CDEC need to do differently this time? Oh, never mind. Hold on a minute. Here we go.
Okay, there you go. That's what they're doing differently, Mike. For once, Grimstroke's not banned out, and CDEC picks it up. There we go. A hero I hate. I really hate this hero, Mike. And it's in here. It's in Captain's mode. And we'll see what exactly it can do in the right hands now, Mike. We will just see.
I mean, the thing is, John, you hate it, but, like, we're not in a pub game, we're watching, and I know you've been curious to see what the pros will do with this hero.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I just want to see just how effectively they can use it, and, well, we're going to see it now, Mike. I have to tell you, though, you know what I'm really... There you go. I'm surprised Doom is not first phase ban. How is it not first phase ban after you get crushed like that in lane? And, you know, CDC picks it up for themselves. Maybe they can run it to great effect now.
Yeah,
because we've just seen it time and time again, Mike.
But then you've got this Magnus Juggernaut combo coming up from Vici Gaming. We saw that before from LGD, I believe, and they completely dominated with this combination. Mind you, that was LGD, right? That's a different tier of Dota right there, but still, I feel like the draft is still very open, I want to say, right? Like, neither team looks to be beating each other quite yet. We've only seen 2 heroes, but I guess we can say we're excited. It's
cool. Oh, I'm definitely very excited, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Grimstroke brings a lot of possibilities. Double Doom. You know, that's already
right.
a lot of possibilities. So I'm looking forward to just see how this works out. Of course, Juggernaut Magnus, classic combo, and it works really well now. The emphasis on early game farm, Juggernaut can go, you know, he comes online fairly fast. And you can itemize him to really be a powerhouse in that mid-game. He pushes quite well, he has really great sustain. I think it's fairly potent. I truly believe Juggernaut is going to be one of the more common cores nowadays, Mike.
I do believe so. The Shadow Shaman will be the 3rd pickup for Vici Gaming. John, before we do see how Grimstroke performs, do you feel like this hero is still imbalanced? I know you complained about it for months, John. You hate this hero so much, but is it still imbalanced after all the nerfs that have come?
I wouldn't say it's imbalanced. I just find it completely frustrating to play against. It's not my... It definitely changes the way I have to think about certain spells and interactions. And it just throws me in for a loop. Compared to when Dark Willow came in and Pangolier, I hated him for maybe about 2 weeks. And then it just kind of tapered off and they just became another set of heroes. But Grimstroke just... I've had just absolutely terrible experiences with him. Absolutely terrible experiences against him, and I'm just quite glad. I'm frankly quite glad he's not too common in pubs, because he just annoys the heck out of me, Mike. He really does. VG does pick up that Shadow Shaman, Mike, moving away from that wretched ink swelling jerk. They do have the Shadow Shaman, which really amplifies their push again with that Juggernaut. CDEC does get the Ogre Magi, a lot of possibilities again with that Grimstroke. You can stun, you know, stun a lot of people at once, basically. You can stun 2 people at once. That's 2 times more than Ogre Magi used to do, Mike.
Hold on a minute. So you're telling me that with the Grimstroke ultimate, Ogre Magi can also multicast on both targets with a stun,
I wouldn't know. I would assume yes, but I wouldn't know.
If that was the case,
yes.
Imagine you just went for a core Ogre, and then you just bought, like, Dagon, yeah, and then you just multicast by 4 onto 2 heroes. That'd be pretty hilarious.
That's a possibility. I'm not sure if your groundbreaking ideal here is going to be what we're going to see from CDEC, Mike.
I doubt it.
It's an interesting possibility, right up there with line position 1. I have to tell you, I do enjoy line position 1. I don't think anyone's really insane enough to do it again. But, you know, if that's up there, Core Ogre would be nice to see. Again, the possibility is there because you can multicast items. I don't think that's the case here, Mike.
No.
And let's go back to being sensible, right?
Yeah.
Undying is picked up by VG, and I think this really just ties their drafting quite well. Again, that early game pressure from the Undying, his sustain in lane, and his ability to play on the edge is really good. Again, the change to his Flesh Golem as well makes him much nicer at 6. Before it was just kind of underwhelming. Now it's really, really powerful, I have to say. In my opinion, it's quite strong. I'm not sure how it would fare against this specific lineup, though. It almost feels like the Faceless Void is gonna have a pretty good run here, Mike. Sure he doesn't. I mean, he can combo quite well with Grimstroke. Ogre Magi can buff him up, and they can take a mid that's ranged that can really maximize that Chronosphere.
I can't disagree with you on that point. The Void certainly doesn't seem to have many counters right now in this game. Of course, you do have the Shaman with the Shackles, I suppose, and the Hex, but then you got to get in range to land those, and we'll see what Vici Gaming do to deal with this Faceless Void. I mean, they haven't really chosen their mid-hero yet. They could always... I mean, they could go for the Pugner again, I guess, because you can just Decrepify the same way you did when LC tried to duel anyone in the last game. They will get rid of the Ember Spirit for the moment. CDEC, how do they close this off? What mid-hero are they looking for?
I mean, I feel like Lina would be a fairly alright choice. Queen of Pain would be nice. I'm interested in seeing Outworld Devourer myself. I'm not sure how his changes will play out. I feel like his laning phase is again a bit stronger with his change to his mana regen capabilities. I think his laning phase is a bit stronger and more reliable. His late game scaling is definitely a bit iffier. Okay.
They took it for themselves, John. The Pugner. We'll go to the side of CDEC. You saw how strong it was last game. You mentioned it. It's like no risk pushing. You just push and push and push, and you're so far away from the damn tower, they can't even reach you.
Yeah, it's going to be really potent here for CDEC, especially since they do kind of lack a hero that can really just push. I mean, we've seen the Dooms do a lot of pushing in the past few games. He's not really a push here. He's just going to tank the tower for you. You need someone to do that damage, and the Pugna does a lot of damage to tower, Mike. It does tie in CDEC's draft quite well.
Well, they'll go for the Mirana to finish off on the side of Vici Gaming. Bit of a, I don't want to say boring end to the draft, but Vici Gaming, they do go for something a lot more standard, which is absolutely fair enough. I suppose you do also have the Shackles into the Arrow combination if you want to run that. Still, it feels like this will be a closer game than the last one. You know, I don't know how long it's going to last, because we haven't seen anything over 35 minutes yet. But maybe this will be the game.
It does look like the drafts are much more even in this case. I feel like Vici Gaming's lineup can push a bit faster. Like when they have the cooldowns off, especially in that Shadow Shaman, the towers will melt. But CDEC is not reliant on those cooldowns to take objectives. They do rely on them for the team fight. Again, you want your Doom off, you want your Chronosphere off, you want your Grimstroke ultimate to be up. VG is relying a lot on Magnus and Omnislash, RP and Omnislash, so that combination is going to be what we have to watch out for from VG, and that is what they're going to be playing around. It should be interesting to see how both of these teams play around their cooldowns, play around their power spikes. I think I give the edge overall just to VG, just the way they've been playing, I think, and how well they should be able to play around their cooldowns. CDC does have a pretty well-lined draft. I'm not sure how much damage you can really pump out on that Void in Chronosphere early game when your only follow-up damage is really probably Pugna, and I guess Grimstroke kind of counts for something.
See how it goes. We'll be getting into the game very, very soon. This will definitely be a much more interesting game than the first, I'm sure. At the very least, we get to watch Grimstroke in a pro match, which you and me, we haven't seen yet, so this should be fun. But we'll get into the game. For all the viewers out there, after this game, there's one more Best of 2 series, and I believe that will be between eHome and IG Vitality. So look out for that one after this game, because all these series are Best of 2s throughout the group stage. But yeah, that'll be our last one. eHome vs IG Vitality. And pretty much every day after that for the next 5 days, we'll have 3 series per day. And if you're an LGD fan, you'll get to see them again tomorrow in the first series. But for the moment, this game. Rye will take the Grimstroke.
That was skill, all right.
Pure skill.
You know, I'm interested to see what they prioritize for level 1 on the pro scene. All of Grimstroke's spells are pretty potent. You know, you have to admit all of these spells at level 1 are pretty strong. So it should be interesting to see what is prioritized here for CDEC, as it will certainly shape the way they play their lane.
I think 100% you just go Stroke of Fate, level 1.
To battle.
Like, the thing is, you can go the Inkswell, and you can be really annoying with that, but I think the Stroke of Fate in the laning phase is just going to be hellish to go up against. I'd know, John, because I have spammed that hero quite a bit, but that's, of course, in my damn pubs. Not a pro match, right? Moving up, trying to right-click them a bit. It looks like they should be able to snag that top banner in, although Paparazzi on that jug can be very threatening, and it looks like CDEC will actually... Well, they'll back off. So we are missing 1 bounty rune. There it is. So 3 bounty runes going to the way of the Radiant, it seems. Vici Gaming is only able to get 1 for the first bounties.
Yeah, a good start for CDEC. A nice little gold injection again. Should help the mid lane just a bit. I think that's the most significant spot for that gold boost. It does mean that a little extra is shipped out to XM. So he does have his null to start with and a set of tango.
DY trying to be annoying on that Undying already. They are running a tri-lane for Vici Gaming. Now the tables have turned. CDEC were the ones running that tri-lane last time around. It looks like the dual lane will remain for CDEC at the bot for the moment. Yang seems to be relatively comfortable just staying in this lane by himself right now. Though I do feel like once a couple more levels come up on the Void and the Ogre, it's going to be very hard to sustain that lane as a Magnus.
Yeah, it is going to be a bit hard to sustain it as that Magnus, although you'd be surprised with just how much you can pump out with Shockwave.
Oh, John, look at this. Top lane. Top lane, look at this, John. Fade cops a hell of a lot of damage and the stun. Will he actually survive? Stroke of Fate is there. They will actually get 1, 2, 3 just in time. And now Rye, he'll find the trade, but he loses his own life. And the funny thing is that, John, if CDEC were running a tri-lane right there, you would have easily probably found that Shadow Shaman kill and just walked out of there safely, maybe even found a bit more. But with that Inkswell, they were only managed to... They really wanted to just get the Shadow Shaman, but there just wasn't enough damage being pumped out.
Yeah, that is an issue. Again, Doom at level 1 probably doesn't do... And he doesn't do that much damage. Grimstroke as well, not too much damage. He depends on his spells really to dish it out, and... you know, it was on cooldown. So, rather unfortunate for CDEC, but at the very least they got 1. I mean, they did get the Shaman. It's just, they gave away a bit too much for that trade, I feel.
I mean, when you're up against a Juggernaut like Paparazzi, we saw what happened with Juggernauts when they get farmed in this game, in this patch. And it's not pretty. Like, they just hit so damn hard. You've got to be a bit careful giving those hero kills away, it seems. And, of course, Paparazzi basically free farming for the moment. And DY being very, very annoying. Right. Seems to not be chucking out as many Stroke of Fates as I thought he would be. But I suppose he does have to be worried about the creep equilibrium in this lane. Especially for 1, 2, 3's sake. But Paparazzi, going to have a fun time. He's not contested whatsoever at the moment.
Yeah, he should be fairly happy. 13-6, not quite as impressive as the Void's 14-9, but you know, it's still fairly good. DY now being jumped on.
Yeah, Inkswell again coming in clutch, Stroke of Fate as well, but DY is way too tanky. Like, this Undying pick is like, I'm not gonna say it's paying off already, but like, you throw all that out, you can't find the pick off, and well, it's just not great news if you're on the side of CDEC, I feel, because Grimstroke is one of those heroes where it's really not as powerful when you go into the late game. So bot lane, Fade, Eve will chase him down, but we'll get no time locks and we'll have to let him go. Now, they are trying to apply a lot more pressure at the top lane. That Stroke of Fate starting to deal a lot more damage. Paparazzi does not actually have a healing ward available quite yet. He hasn't leveled it up, but he does have the healing salve available. He'll be perfectly fine with just that. Though it does look like they did force DY out of that top lane for a bit. He'll go back to the fountain and heal himself up. Well, Shaker bot lane. Trying to be very aggressive on this Ogre, but unfortunately for him, what the hell was that?
That's what you were looking for, Mike. That is the multi-time locks, it sounded like.
Yeah, I believe he just procced it 3 times.
Yeah, it did sound like 3 times on my headset as well. And I guess that's one thing about Void. It can be powerful when that happens, but you're relying a bit on RNG. And will it pay off here, Fade?
Well, Fade, he ends up going down anyway. Shaker finds him with a right click. There's no real way to survive that once the Ignite was there. Moving over to the mid lane, John. We haven't talked about this lane whatsoever yet. XM against Ori. Does seem like XM is just having a grand old time on this Pugna. Ori certainly having a much more difficult time against this Pugna at the moment. And it does look like XM, though. We'll give him the lane for a moment. May want to start pushing as this Pugna, but it does seem a bit early. And in fact, he just wanted to bottle up the bounty rune for the moment. He will just run back down to the mid lane. Meanwhile, bot, Shaker will end up dying. Fade will find that pick off for himself. And we sit at a 2-3 now, 5.5 minutes in. And as it stands, John, I don't really know who's winning at this stage. It just seems very even.
I'd say it's fairly even overall. I think when it comes down to it, CDEC is probably getting a bit more from lane farm. But they're behind 1 kill. And, you know, I feel like they are being pressured quite hard. I feel like it's CDEC's lineup that just kind of wants to really come online straight away, compared to VG's, which can afford, you know, to be pushed back a bit, because again, you want to blink on your Magnus first. You want Yang to have that blink up. You want Paparazzi to have a couple of items, maybe at least 1 mid-game item before he starts jumping in, and that does take a bit of time. Whereas CDEC is strong straight off the bat, so I feel like they really want to get as much as they can in this laning phase.
Well, Ori, he did rotate down to the bot lane, and, well, he managed to find Shaker in conjunction with that Shadow Shaman, and now he might go after XM. It's just a matter of whether he can land the arrow from that distance. And it looks like XM is moving towards the runes anyway, so won't have that opportunity to go for the arrow. Though this will free up the mid lane again for Ori to try and catch up in farm just a bit. And he's pretty close anyway, only 8 last hits behind. Paparazzi, though, John, he's starting to struggle on this Juggernaut a bit. Like, he's got 30 last hits, but you can see as these levels come up, Grimstroke becomes a hell of a lot more annoying and really uncontrollable. DY will return back into the lane, but XM is here now. So the pushing begins from the side of CDEC. And as I say that, XM, he will actually just run away.
He does not have a level Nether Ward. This is actually really interesting to me. Last game, we actually saw our Pugna go for 303 at level 6. Now we have a 3201 Pugna. So the prioritization is definitely a bit different, and he gets arrowed.
Does get arrowed, but apparently nothing happens. The Ogre Magi was there to make sure everything's fine. They are running a try in our top lane to help Paparazzi out. They might be able to go on to 1-2-3, but again, you've got to worry about that Devour regeneration. We're going for an Infernal Blade. Paparazzi, not level 6 quite yet, so he can't even think about the Omni Slash. Though he is quite close now. And right, keeping a very, very close eye on Paparazzi. So they will actually engage as well, right? He'll be the target, and with that Shackle, he probably should just die, but the one comes in, and now the Inkswell as well. He's in big, big trouble, this Shadow Shaman. They dropped the Tombstone for this, though Right somehow alive. He will finally end up falling, but they got the trade, and now DY gonna be in massive, massive trouble because XM's making the chase. No way to cancel that life drain once he gets started, and he goes down. A very, very nice play indeed from Rye on that Grimstroke, and it really did feel like he survived a bit longer than he should have, but there was just no burst potential.
Yeah, they did lack a bit of damage there for VG Gaming. And, you know, that Inkswell just pretty much saved Rye's life anyway. So, Yeah, that's, you know, looking at that, that really is one of the reasons I dislike playing against it, Mike. It's just kind of obnoxious. We do see smoke coming out from VG. I'm not sure if... No. Okay, Ori just went boots. We'll see if they get something done with the smoke.
It's definitely a confusing one. Like, you've got Eve down at the bot lane. They definitely would be willing to commit the RP for this kill, though Eve seemingly knowing something is wrong. Just hiding in the tree line. It looks like they will actually go through the jungle and try to find this Void, but he is nowhere to be seen. And so, I suppose this smoke just turns into an warding mission. Top lane though, Paparazzi will end up losing his life. 1, 2, 3. He was there with the Doom and with Rai there to back him up with additional damage. There's just no survival for this Jug, though. Chrono, mid lane, is onto 2 heroes, and with XM, with that Nether Blast and the Stroke of Fate, they do end up getting 2 very, very easy pickoffs, and now DY will be chased down. A very nice time lock. Eve, slowly but surely, going to be taking DY down. Stroke of Fate will not connect, but it doesn't even matter. A very nice rotation coming out from CDEC, and they will be the ones now to be taking the towers down relatively quickly this game. In fact, hold that thought, John. Yang has been caught out. Look at the time locks, John. Yang, very, very unlucky on his part. RP is nice, though. Can they follow up? The arrow comes in, connects onto the Yoga Magi, but that is a tanky hero. Ori trying to come in for the Starfall. Eve doesn't know what to do with himself. Does choose to back out.
Yeah, this is definitely a very, very good start for CDEC compared to the first game. And this is exactly the sort of start they want. 8-5, 3k net worth lead. They've already taken mid-tier 1, which is really important in these games. And they're finding kills left, right, and center. Whereas, you know, you compare it to VG. Shadow Shaman's nowhere near his level 6, so that push is not going to come out anytime soon. The Blink Dagger for Yang is still a ways off as well. So that initiation's not going to be there for VG. And this is really a really great start for CDEC. I feel like they have to keep applying that pressure. Make sure to clear out the map just as VG cleared out the map earlier. And you are set to have a pretty good pace in this game.
Yeah. And Paparazzi just trying to catch up in farm. He has fallen slightly behind right now. He will just commit to the jungle. He just cannot contest against 1, 2, 3 anymore. You know, it's level 1 Infernal Blade, but it's more about the fact that you can't actually trade right clicks with him, as this Doom with that regen he has. And so he'll just focus on the jungle creeps now. With that Empower, it will help out quite a bit. The CDEC can't allow this to happen. They've got to continue applying that pressure. And really, like, they were going for T1s before, but they've only got a 1 so far in that mid lane. And we are almost 12 minutes in. Whereas if you look at the previous game, Vici Gaming, they were taking T2s before this mark. So it's kind of like you're going to give too much time for Vici Gaming to get online at this stage if you don't make something happen. And it looks like CDEC agree. They do smoke up bot lane. The problem is the tier 1 mid is getting knocked on now. And if you don't come and defend this, they're just going to take it for free. They will make their way in. Wards have been dropped and Ori will clear out the creep wave. Who are they going to go on? They want Fade first, it seems, and they will end up finding him. Hex was there in time, but there's the silence. The wards are still down as well to help out, and now Chrono is available, but he won't, of course, need it. They will just take him out eventually. Now RP, it's only onto 1 though. Can they burst this Void down? Starfall will be enough. They do end up getting him. Now Shaker will be the target though, and he's gone as well. XM, he will TP out to safety, but that did not work out the way CDEC wanted it to, and Vici Gaming definitely got way more out of that engagement.
Yeah, they take a tier 1, they take 2 kills. Fortunately for CDEC, they did not expand that Chronosphere, so that is an option for the next team fight. Especially without that RP, you do have some places to work and no Serpent Horde. But you can't afford to give VG openings like that. You can't afford to let Paparazzi bounce back on this Juggernaut. You can't afford to give Yang on this Magnus a chance to buy his Blink. Because once that's up, VG will be, you know, they'll be pretty much back even. And when they're back even, they can come back and go ahead, Mike.
We'll see what happens. CDEC gonna start pushing in that bot lane now, but Vici Gaming Still looking pretty happy with what just happened. Net worth lead still 2k the way of CDEC though. Anyone's game at this stage. XM will get started on the push. Looks like he does end up going for a crown. He's going to go for a Dagon build, and in fact, they will jump onto DY and they just burst him down. That Decrepify amplification is massive, and Ori sitting in the tree line now, 1, 2, 3 as well. He will get the Crimson Guard. We've seen what happens when Dooms get the Crimson Guard in this patch, John. So, arguably unkillable right now at 57 regen. 57 HP regen, that is. And well, they might just go for a T2 tower. Why the hell not?
Yeah, no reason to stop now. Your Doom is pretty healthy. You've got the Crimson Guard up. You've got Pugna to really dish the damage. No reason to worry.
Well, they've got a blink now, though, on the Magnus. He just picked it up. It's a surprise reveal. They found Rai. They will hex him up, but this isn't the initiation you wanted. But that is the RP onto 2 and the Omni Slash as well. They've even got the ultimate from the Grimstroke out, but it's not going to help as much as you'd want it to. Yang will actually get out of there successfully. Now, XM, can he do the same? It looks like he will be able to, but... well, actually does turn around for a final Nether Blast. The Chrono is available on Eve, but he just never got in range to actually throw it out and help his team out.
Time is money.
That was a beautiful blink reveal coming out from Yang. Of course, we did kind of expect it. He did just grab it. Like, that was literally the moment he got it from Courier. He was already TPing down. And just got really amazing RP. Beautiful follow-up from Paparazzi. And I start to worry for CDEC here. Again, they still have the lead. 2 kills ahead, 1k ahead in net worth. They have a bit more objectives off the map. But you've given Vici an opening now. The Juggernaut is starting to farm ahead now. And he will farm faster than the Void because he has Magnus, right? It's just going to escalate from here for Paparazzi. You're gonna have to really... I want to see that Chrono Sphere used, like, well, 2 team fights in a row now.
They're gonna go after Fade bot lane. I mean, you definitely don't want to commit it on the Shadow Shaman, and they won't even bother, of course. They will manage to find him and take him out. But I have to agree with the sentiment, John. It's just sitting there off cooldown, and nothing's being done with it. Certainly not what you really want if you're playing that Void 16 minutes into the game. Yang, he's going to have that RP available in about 20 seconds. So by the time you kind of make the decision to use that Chrono in a team fight, you're going to have to worry about that RP again. In fact, as I say that, Skewer, not really on point from Yang, but a good shot. Shaker moving his way in, just drops a ward. It does seem like they were aware that that was actually dropped by the Ogre. They are grouping around that bot T2 tower again, John. They really want to try for this. Question is, will Vici Gaming take the bait? Doesn't really look that way. DY is the only one there on that Undying. It looks like they're more than happy to give the Tier 2 tower away. And it will just be given for free, though CDEC thinking about moving up for more. And again, it's kind of like, why the hell not? You've got the Chrono available and you've got your whole team there. Though Eve, look at the position he's in right now. If his team gets initiated on right now, he's not going to be able to make it in time for that Chrono.
Yeah, really strange spot to be in.
They will group up again.
His entire team was right by the ramp and he was far behind. If VG decided to go in there with, you know, a blink RP, that might not have ended well for CDEC. So I feel like they have to tie it a bit, you know, they have to tie up their formation a bit better. And Eve is actually going for the Battle Fury. I'm not sure about this one, Mike. It's going to be like a 20-minute Battle Fury.
That is an interesting choice to say the least. It looks like he's just saying, screw it, we're going to have to go late game. But, oh, smoke comes out. Vici Gaming, they run straight into CDEC and DY. Feeling pretty confident right now. He ran into all the heroes with absolutely no help. And he's still alive throughout all this, mind you. Serpent Wards have been committed. Now Fade with the Shackles. Nice Omni Slash comes out. They will burst out 1, 2, 3. And turns out he's not as tanky as you'd hope. Grimstroke, meanwhile, Rai, he's been caught out. They'll take him out as well as the Radiant Courier who got killed throughout all this. Not the greatest of news again from CDEC. And John, I don't mean to pick on Eve, but you look down to that bot jungle. He's still holding that Chrono. But he was too far away to actually join in and help his team out.
Yeah, Again, I'm very curious about this positioning from our Faceless Void from Eve here. Just really far away from... Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh.
Oh, God. Did you see that, Mike?
What? No, I didn't. What happened?
The chrono came out and Paparazzi just blinked right as it came out. How? How do you preempt that? How do you preempt that? Right as it was casted, you could see the blink particles in the chronosphere, Mike.
Uh-oh. Well, there's your chrono, I guess. We've been complaining about no chrono for a while, John, and, well, they'll get DUI anyway, but... that is, CDEC. They had such a great start, but now the net worth, it will turn the way of Vici Gaming. With that... I don't know, it goes back to what you said, like, this Jug is farming way too quickly now. He's got a Blink Dagger up as well, and he's going straight into that Eye of Skadi next. That Battle Fury build coming out from Eve, like, he's got it ready to go now. He'll pick it up from the base, but it's not going to offer so much to your team apart from you farming. So
yeah, that's the one issue I see here. I don't think you need it for damage in Chronosphere at all. And it looks like they might walk into a trap here from VG.
Yeah, well, there's no chrono available, so he just gets hexed up. The Shackles was there, although the Soulbind cancels it off, but the RP, just to make sure, now Doom comes out onto 2 targets. Double Doom, but there's no follow-up for it, or is there? The Dagon, Live Drain, they will get the Shadow Shaman. Yang, they might just turn this around. Paparazzi hits like an absolute truck, and Omni Slash just comes off cooldown, and I think 1-2-3 is about to disappear. Though Shaker, they'll turn their attention around towards that Ogre Magi. They'll take the Ogre instead. So a 3-for-1 trade, nothing wrong with that, and VG, they might even get a tier 2 tower out of this.
Yeah, I don't think you back out here if you're VG right now. You know that that chrono is still going to be down for a few seconds once that void is up. You have an opening here, you just go for it.
1-2-3 gets skewered. There is a Ghost Scepter there. It doesn't even matter, right, as well. Try to help out, but... well, he actually doesn't die, and now they might get the Undying. He drops a Tombstone. Chrono is back up. This is a very strange team fight, or engagement, I should say, coming out from CDEC. And they will cease to engage. They will not go for it any longer. They do manage to get an Undying, I guess, but I don't think DY minds dying.
Yeah, it's definitely a worthwhile trade. They do manage to defend their tier 2, Mike. I think in the end that's really all that matters, I guess. They are in a position to force a team fight of their own. They only lack Doom, but I think that's fine. You have your Chronosphere backup, you have your Soulbind backup. You can do a lot of work in the team fight if you so choose. And they do go for the Roshan.
Well, if they can sneak this off the side of Vici Gaming, this is certainly a nice little win for the side of CDEC. Though the pings are coming up, the Roshan is falling relatively fast. They've got to get in there ASAP. Moonlight Shadow is there, and somehow the Roshan's still alive. Stroke of Fate. Won't find anybody. The Roshan, so close to dying. Serpent Wards are there, but it won't do the job. And now Soulbind, Chrono is there as well. Can they burst them down? The Stroke of Fate does a lot of damage, and with that, they're still alive on that Magnus, though. RP, he grabs 3 of them, and then Starfall as well. But it won't be quite enough. Paparazzi comes in, and 1-2-3 may end up falling. Fade gets the shackle off onto Eve, but Eve, he's left all alone. Arrow. Oh, no.
Oh, what?
It ends up connecting as well. What a prediction coming out from Ori. Paparazzi. Well, they will be able to time walk it off. Do they have a way to cancel the TP? Absolutely not, but... another massive loss for CDEC. John, I thought they had the Magnus in time, but the RP came out, and I guess they were lucky that Paparazzi wasn't closer to that Magnus. Otherwise, that Omnislash would have just destroyed them.
Definitely so. Oh, that Yule's pickup from Magnus was absolutely value right there. It paid for itself right there, Mike. He Yules himself right in time. The moment he came down, everyone was swarming him, and he just RP'd. Just like that. And that arrow prediction, like... oh, man.
I'm kind of shocked that the Void just didn't see it. Like I thought
I
he
was
aware.
I didn't think it would land. I thought he'd just walk right past the trees. I didn't think he'd try to juke.
1, 2,
It was a
3.
clear path.
1, 2, 3 getting jumped on bot lane. Yang will get caught out. Arrow will connect as well thanks to those Yules, and Well, they BKB up on the Mirana, the skewer back as well. 1, 2, 3. Can he actually get out of this one? DY is there to help out. And with that shackle, it looks like he should just eventually end up dying. They get Rai as well, so Ori's on a double. With that, tier 2 tower at the bot lane. Gonna start being pushed in, and for CDEC, it's getting worse and worse, John. It's just, how do you push back against this Vici gaming side? You've got to rely so much on the Soulbind and Chrono, and the Doom for that matter, but it's a lot to ask for.
Yeah, and now those tier 3s are being pushed in, 24 minutes in. Wards
Chrono is nice onto 3 heroes. Where's the follow-up? That is a lot of damage coming out, but it's not enough, and now the RP turn it around, and Paparazzi just destroys them. It's like, it's a nice Chrono, but you don't have the follow-up damage. The Stroke of Fate is nowhere near enough. With that, Omni/XM gonna cop it. The Decrepify is there. We'll save him for the moment. Now Doom as well. This is really messy from both sides. Will they actually get the Juggernaut? The heal is there. Paparazzi just making a run for it. They will end up finding Fade though. Can they find any more? Ogre. Don't know who the hell he's chasing. DY just gonna die again on this Undying. So they will find a 2-for-2 trade, but they end up losing that bot Rax as well as the tier 3 tower. I don't know. It's kind of like you threw the Chrono out, and it seemed really desperate from the side of CDEC, that defense.
It definitely was. They only managed to take out 2 supports as well in exchange for their entire tier 3 and Rax, which just, you know, at the very least their tier 2s are still up on mid and top, so that's not going to be, I mean, their Rax are not going to be under threat for a while. Maybe after the next Roshan, which should be, you know, it might be up in the next 4 minutes. I think that's the next mark we'll see a really aggressive push coming out from VG. But until then, maybe they're just kind of satisfied to farm or wait for their cooldowns at very least.
CDEC, they still have that lane game potential in the Void, of course. They can just drag this game out forever and just try to get the farm up on Eve, but Vici Gaming really don't seem to be willing to let them do that. They are going towards that top tier 2 again. And Paparazzi, that IF Skadi up, he's going for a butterfly next. Stroke of Fate. I mean, it does delay things. It's a lot of damage. It really is great for pushing back those waves, but Paparazzi just comes back in and takes it out. And where the hell does Ori find a kill on XM? Bot jungle, apparently. They end up finding the Pugna. With that, there's no buyback available on that Pugna. You may as well just go for a push right here, right now for that mid tier 2.
There's no buyback in Pugna. There's no Fortify because they use it on the top tier 2, which was a pretty curious choice, I have to say, Mike. And that just makes a high ground push much more likely for VG. I doubt they're going to wait for the next Roche now, actually. They have every tool they need up. I think they're just going to get a little bit more farm and, you know, maybe wait for one key item to come out. I don't know. It should be soon. I can feel it. They can definitely go for this push now. That tier 2 down mid is looking very, very open.
VG getting so confident. Tier 2 goes down. Bot lane being pushed in by Eve. He's trying to force them back a bit, but I feel like Vici Gaming could just leave that alone. Like, he's TP'd back now. Serpent wards have been dropped. Crimson Guard is there to help out. Nice skewer again, though, comes out from Yang. And they got the shackle from an absolute mile away. The tier 3 at the bot lane. Going to be fine. Like, it's only creeps pushing in. Tower will be able to push them out. I think Vici Gaming probably just going to stick around. They're all still so healthy. The Tombstone is still sitting there. And now, again, another skewer. It's almost like they're using the Tombstone as bait at this point. 1, 2, 3. He does go Scepter up, or Decrepify it up, I should say, but he is going to end up falling again. The Soulbind really going to do nothing in this case. And, well, they found a shackle now onto the Void. The arrow connects as well, and he is just not quite dead yet. He might find a nice Chrono, but he doesn't throw it out in time. Now he does. He's got 2 in there with that life drain. They will burst down 1 in Yang, though the buyback comes out immediately, and Paparazzi trying to go after Shaker again. Vici Gaming not willing to back off quite yet. They got a buyback on Magnus. They want to be able to take advantage of it, although, well, they will opt to go for a shrine instead.
Radiant's top shrine is under attack.
Oh, CDEC. Eve will go after Yang. And Yang, that's going to be a dieback if he ends up going down right now. He does have the RP. He doesn't get it off in time, though. Nether Ward will blow him up. If it wasn't for that Nether Ward, John, we might have had a similar situation to last time.
Definitely so. I feel like, yeah, that was definitely a wasted buyback coming out from VG. They gave away a gem as well, which is not going to be good when you do have a Mirana in your team. So it's going to be a bit rough for VG now. A few of their wards should be warded as time goes on, but I don't know. It's very strange that that buyback even came out.
Fade. I thought he would have for sure gone down in the mid lane, but Eve just didn't get lucky with time locks, and the Hex came out quite quickly and he just managed to walk uphill. Though they do get a tier 2 mid tower, so they get something out of this. Still, there's one tier 2 at the top lane they have to go for on the side of CDEC, and then you've got the tier 3s to knock on. The bot lane currently being pushed in by these creeps of Vici Gaming. It's still a pretty hard ask of CDEC to push this back their way, but again, with the Void, it's certainly possible in the late game.
Yeah, definitely so. Again, as that Void, you always stay relevant because of that Chronosphere. It's always a massive amount of control coming out. You scale pretty well with your damage as well, so you can definitely do a lot in that.
The fine Ogre Magi bot lane, that was actually a dieback on Shaker. So nice value pickoff from the side of Vici Gaming. And that Ogre's gone for a full minute now. And they draw those lines immediately through that bot lane towards that mid tower. We'll see if they can take another mid racks out. They do have the Serpent Wards available, so it shouldn't be too hard, but you've always got to be concerned about that Chrono. And of course the double Doom that can come out thanks to the Soulbind. Of course, RP also available on Yang. And right, he's going to get skewed back again. The Shackle's there immediately, and he might just beat it, although Doom did come out. It looks like it was a bit of a bait play, though he is down. And now Rai, well, he's gone. They might even find Fade, and they will do so. Eve does throw out a nice Chrono, but is it really going to do much? They will be able to find Yang. Maybe no. Omnislash is there from Paparazzi. It's just a real shame, but nothing's really coming together for CDEC. 4 heroes down now, and it's GG. They've called it. John, these team fights have been very, a lot of them have been very uncoordinated, it feels. Like it's just, they're not meshing together as well as you'd hope.
Yeah, definitely. It felt very, very scrappy coming out from, I have to say, from CDEC and VG at some cases. You know, it just felt a bit messy. Execution was definitely not on top, but in the end, VG comes on top. They did execute their draft a bit better. They managed to get, you know, bounce back from a slight deficit in the early game and really find their pace in this game, Mike. So props to VG. They do take the series 2-0. And, you know, I'm very happy with, you know, the 2 series we've had so far. I'm looking forward to the 3rd one, Mike.
Well, we'll move on to the final series, John. I should find the teams that are playing. It is, of course, going to be eHome versus IG Vitality, which will be our last series of the day. John, the thing is, and why is Juggernaut still screaming in the background? The thing is, John,
he is.
As far as I'm aware, we will be sticking to schedule. Now, if we are sticking to schedule, then that's going to be 55 minutes away. The thing is, though, last time I was told they were going to be sticking to schedule, and they started about 20 minutes earlier. So it could be 55 minutes as a maximum. I don't know how much it's going to be as a minimum. I mean, minimum is obviously like a second. But regardless, John, I don't know how long it's going to be. It should be a maximum 1 hour from now, hopefully a lot earlier. If I get an update, which I will be searching for, I will let you know on stream. But please stick around. Hopefully you're enjoying the games. We'll be right back with you in just a moment. It is, of course, at MLPDota and at johnxfire. Hopefully it won't be too long at all, guys.